Hello again, and welcome to week 3, chapter 5. Projects continue to grow, and hence the need and the authority of project managers as the speed for market ever increases, as the number of resources, both in personnel and their skill sets and other resources, continue to dwindle, the competition for them growing. Our discipline continues to mature. And so we are tied into then the organization that we are brought into, right? So we want to be aware of our parent organization, how our project organization is developed and managed, and how we deal with multiple projects over time. Now, project organizational types usually are in 4: functional, projectized, matrix, or composite. We'll go over those here. So a functional organization is usually that stovepiped we talked about last week, or siloed is the nickname. A functional organization nickname is a silo. It's straight up and down. And to talk to somebody, I have to go up to the top of mine, over and back down, right? That's how it works, and it can be very challenging. Here's a picture of a traditional company with its various silos here and here and here. And if I want to talk to somebody elsewhere, I have to go up here, have them get permission, go down here, and go talk to the person there. It has its uses and its drawbacks. And the slides this week list advantages and disadvantages for each of these. It does give me a lot of resources I can tap, but I get to tap them for a short time. They're real experts, though. And say one of my specialists goes on vacation or has a family issue, I can tap another like skill set pretty quickly. So there's some advantages. And of course, like everything, it has disadvantages, right? Are they really focused on my work, my project work, when they are actually working for the function themselves? These are things you'll want to be aware of as a project manager so that you can maximize your project efforts. Now, the second type of organizational structure is a projectized organization, and that's where everybody is working full-time for the project manager. This is Project Red, Project Beta, Project Grow, etc. Everybody works for them. And it has, now the project manager's authority in each of these is going to be maximized. You'll manage the budget, you'll manage the people, you'll do their feedback, you'll get them promoted. But at the end of the project, there's nowhere to go. They're just released. And that's why the nickname here is called No Home for a projectized organization. So Express Scripts is a good example of that here in St. Louis. They bring on teams to work a project for 6, 8, 9 months. When the project is over, the team is released. Almost everybody gets follow-on work whenever they want it. I have friends that like to then take a couple months off and pick up a new project into the next year. Some like to roll right into another one. So it can work. There are disadvantages and advantages to both. You're welcome to pause these slides and review them, but know that the project manager has full authority, which means there's going to be faster decision making, unity of command, and it's going to be more holistic along the way. But it has disadvantages, right? Maybe workers fall behind in their expertise because there's no function taking care of them. No engineering function or maintenance function that is keeping up with the skill sets that they need. I'm concerned about the project, right? And so that can be a drawback. And then, of course, matrix organizations, very common today, where we take people from a stovepiped organization and we use them assigned to the project for a while in a matrix. The nickname here is two bosses, because your boss will be the functional manager, and also you'll have a boss on this project team as the project manager. And so matrix organizational type will fall into 3 types of matrix organizations: strong, balanced, or weak. A strong matrix organization, the project manager has the most possible authority. You'll manage the budget. You really have a good deal of authority over even functional managers. Now, weak matrix is going to look most like, even though it's a matrix organization, it will look like a functional organization. The project manager has very little authority, and you'll have to negotiate a lot with the functional manager in order to get things done. It has advantages and disadvantages. You're welcome to pause and review those. It is worth your time so that you can maximize your potential if that's the organizational type that you work within. Now, we all work within virtual projects today, right? There are good resources available around the world. And so it's not uncommon for somebody in America to partner corporately with somebody in India or China or elsewhere and to harness their expertise, for example. I deal with virtual projects in a number of ways. One is I keep some open office hours on Zoom where I'll log in and just stay on. What that does is it lets other people, in essence, walk into my office, which is nice. All they have to do is get on if they have an issue. No set meeting time. I will just be there and we can have a conversation. I also would do virtual every Friday. Or every other Friday, I would do virtual meetings where bring the beverage of your choice from home or wherever you're at, a Coke, water, wine if you want, and we will talk about the last 2 weeks' worth work and what's going on in your personal life. So there are ways to make virtual projects work for you. And here are some examples of rules of the road. The key would be frequent communication. In fact, that makes me think the third thing that I did with virtual teams on virtual projects is I would have everybody, instead of using email, use a chat, because a chat meant that as soon as somebody said something, I didn't have to wait for your email. The whole team was aware and we were talking. Plus, it left me a log of the things that were being said along the way, which was very, very useful. Okay. So, and then the final thing to be aware of is there are composite organizations. And a composite organization really blends the functional matrix and projectized types of organizations together into a useful need. So you want to select the project form that's appropriate. And frankly, your organization has been evolving over a long period of time, and it's largely going to do it for you, especially if you have a PMO, a project management office. They're going to select the type. So a functional project team organization may be best if you have in-depth application of technology. In my Air Force career, that was exactly the case, and a functional organization worked best. Also for large capital investments, if it's all focused in one area. Now, a projectized organization may be best if you have a lot of similar projects, right? So Project Red, Project Beta, Project Grow, they're similar. You can learn from each other. You can maximize the benefits, or a change in one can be communicated quickly with the change in the others, right? Can be quite useful that way. But again, it's no home. In a matrix organization, these are projects that require inputs from several functional areas and technologies along the way, and it limits the use of, it maximizes the resources time. Now, a lot of organizations, I would say most today, have added a PMO. Now, whether they run well or not, that's a different conversation, but they've added a project management office. And here's an organization that should manage your projects, help you get resources, help you to get training, deliver templates for all of these projects to use, collect data, report up the chain on metrics. And so these are some of the valuable things. So project management office is going to manage a project portfolio for the overall company, including budgets, risks, etc. It becomes that nerve center, that information center, that hub of information along the way that is a way to address your concerns and provide some clarity as an additional authoritative resource. In fact, a PMO is going to be part of that C-suite that at the very beginning gave us the business documents, the benefits management plan and the business documents that kick off the project. They're part of that deciding office. And once that's been approved by your board, they are going to select or hire the project manager to kick it off. So again, they want to mature project management in the organization. So they want to set a project management maturity model in place. They want to offer training to the project managers and their teams. People need quality training, risk training, schedule management training, etc. They want to take care of the administrative details. Who needs time off? Who can I get to replace them when this one individual it does have time off, etc. And the tasks continue. They're going to maintain the archive. So when I'm done with my project, I archive my data. I put it, I in essence, in my mind, put it on a shelf. What I'm really doing is giving it to the TMO to file and use elsewhere, including the lessons learned. They're going to champion the projects that they've helped sponsor along the way, and they're going to help when I go ahead and close the project, which is our conversation at the end of this course. So if you don't have a PMO, here are some steps that you can use to stand up your PMO. And the book gives a little more clarity on that. So the project team, right? A typical project team might have these sort of elements. And notice a project manager. See, there's a project controller. I'd also add a project manager in a projectized organization, but a functional organization, remember, that's a siloed organization that has the power. You might be a controller or an expediter along the way. Two terms that you could look up that apply there. And then we always want to be concerned with human factors in the project team. Human factors, right? Not all projects are composed of interconnected groups. And these groups can form teams. You don't want it to be us versus them. This is where you get into conflict management, motivational theory that we talked about, leadership, management skills, interpersonal skills, etc. along the way. Because some of the problems that prevent the team from performing effectively, remember Tuckman was trying to get us to performing, his step 4. Performing is this frustration or internal conflict along the way, right? Project teams need to work together and to get to high performing teams. That's your goal with your team, regardless of what type of organization they're in. Now that ends part 1 of the coursework. We're going to start with part 2 now, which is all about planning, project planning, and we're going to focus on the work on this slide highlighted in blue. So we'll take a break now and come back with chapter 6. Okay.